Welcome to episode 3, Unstoppable by Minal M. Barwani. I am an author of Reawaken, CEO of the Reiki Healing Sanctuary, private tutor, and podcast host. The aim of my podcast is to help people achieve their personal and professional goals. In today's episode, I am recording an All About You Center. Sonia Samtani is a clinical hypnotherapist, hypnotherapy and NLP trainer, qualified coach and mental health counselor, best-selling author, 2-time TEDx speaker, senior mentor for world-renowned success coach Tony Robbins, and founder and CEO of Hong Kong's leading mental wellness facility, the All About You Center. As a sought-after speaker and trainer, Sonia's popular tasks focus on key themes including the power of thought, visualization, and mind-body connection. Sonia is committed to helping people find peace with the past and move towards an authentic future. Thank you, Sonia, for joining me today. So, Sonia, tell me about how you learned about the word manifestation.
It's been so long, it took me a moment to even think about this word. But I think the first time this word came into my mind was the documentary The Secret, which came out quite a few decades ago. And The Secret was all about manifestation. And we got all really excited about this new technique where we can get exactly what we want. And I think The Secret has been misconstrued and misinterpreted so many times to the extent that we thought, oh, I want a car, so I just need to think about a car and one day it will happen. Or I want a partner, I just need to think about a partner and it will happen. And I don't think that's what The Secret meant to deliver, but I think that is how people interpreted it because people like fast track things and quick fixes and everything like that. So I too fell under that, and I was in my 20s at that time, and I thought, this seems to be something where I would just need to think about something, be in vibrational alignment to it, and then it'll come my way. And the two things that I didn't get, that many people didn't get, was number one, you need to take action, right? You cannot sit there on a chair and think, white car, or perfect partner, or the staff of my dreams and expect for it to appear if you do nothing about it. So first is action is required. And the second is you need to understand attachment. So sometimes if you think about what you want, the word want itself comes from lack.
Oh, lack.
Because why do you want anything? You don't have it. If you had it, you wouldn't want it. So that means by saying, I want a partner, I want a car, I want this kind of a person in my life, you're also saying, I don't have. And that is making you feel more empty than it is full. And it also subliminally makes us feel attached to it. And the more attached we are, the less likely we are to get it.
Yeah. Very true. There are no shortcuts in life. As I went through hypnotherapy with you, I asked you, Rod, what is the shortcut? There's no shortcuts. And so we have to go through it to grow through it. So what would be a key for manifestation, and what people have to actively do?
So clarity is key. Knowing what you are inspired, what you would love. I would change the question from what do you want to what are you inspired to?
Okay.
Because inspiration comes from a place of fullness and enjoyment. Yeah? Like if I'm full and if I'm living a whole and complete life, what would I be inspired to do? What would I love to do? Then be clear about it. And it can still be the partner, and it can still be enjoying the ride in the car. But then you understand why and what that means to you. So what would I get from the partner? Maybe a sense of connection, a sense of being with somebody, a sense of a heart opening. What will I get from the house? Maybe freedom, security. So you understand the form and you understand what's behind the form. What you really want is the feeling that the form generates. And that feeling does not need to be attached to that form. So with or without the person, feel a sense of connection. With or without the house, feel a sense of freedom and security. So step number 1, coming back to that, is look at what you are inspired to do. Be clear about what it is and be clear about the feeling that it generates. Number 2, focus on being in alignment to that feeling now so that you're not only attached to the form. So step into the vibration of freedom, security, connection, and be with that. And yes, a way to do it can be to visualize that you are already getting what you are inspired. You're already in that house. You're already in that relationship. Sure, you can do that. Bring the feeling up in the body. Number 3, which is a very important one, let go of attachment to the. So in your mind, once you are visualizing it and you generate the feeling, imagine that you're stepping back and you let go of that visual and surrender that visual to the open sky. Let go of that picture of you with somebody. Let go of that image of that house you want while still keeping the feelings intact. And then number 4 would be, what action am I going to take to move towards it in real life? And what do I need to believe in myself to make that happen?
So number 3 is a very big base on vibration and yet letting go, but keeping that vibration in a positive mindset.
Yes.
So some people flicker between negative emotion and positive emotion. How do they maintain that sense of high vibration?
So understand that we're not fighting negativity. You know, one of the big things that I'm known to say is I'm not a proponent of positive thinking. I'm not. In fact, I think that the word positive only exists in comparison. You know positive by understanding what is negative.
Yes.
It exists in duality. So the more you stress somebody out by being positive, the more that stress will make them negative, right? And so they will experience both polarities, and that's what people experience, or they start to delude themselves, and then we call that toxic positivity. So instead of this, opt for peace, right? And peace is a state of mind that is actually a different game from this positive and this negative.
Yes.
Know that you are going to feel a spectrum of emotions. You will feel angry and sad and scared, and you'll also feel happy, right?
We're
and
only
so,
human.
yeah, instead of judging negative and positive, go through the emotions. But what you can look at moving out of is limiting beliefs. Now, limiting beliefs is more about limitations than negativity. It's more about limiting your potential. So if you believe I'm not enough, I don't deserve, other people are better than me, I don't get things easy, all of those are limiting your potential. Yes, of course, the word negative suggests that it's just bad or wrong. That's a judgment. But limiting beliefs is something that we can move through so that we become unlimited in our potential, and we know that we're going to experience these emotions, good, bad, and all of the spectrum that's available to us. And yet, after moving through those limiting beliefs, we can move in the direction of what we want with believing in ourselves, right? And believing that I deserve this goal, and I'm in alignment with this goal, and this goal is due to me. Also, one more thing, make the goals reachable.
Definitely.
Yeah, sometimes people create goals for themselves and like, I'm going to make my business tenfold in the first year. Maybe not, right?
Small steps.
Yes.
How would you tell someone about something you've manifested and then you want to share it in a positive way?
How would I share my own manifestation?
Yes.
So there's so many beautiful things. Like my latest thing was a journal that I just created. And so I thought about this affirmation journal for quite some time.
Yes.
And then my Be Your Own Master course. So this is a course that I've been wanting to do for many years. And I've been thinking about it, I've been energizing it, and I felt in vibrational alignment to it. And it's a course that talks about limiting beliefs, mindset. It's a 9-day program, 3 levels. The one thing that I did not do is action and schedule time to actually write the course.
So like a activated homework for yourself to start the course.
So it was existing in my mind. I was in vibrational alignment, and again, what was missing is my action. So this was kind of like 3 years after thinking about it. I was like, now I'm going to action it. So what I did do is I started promoting the course even before I designed it. And I said that I have this course that I would like to launch, and I spoke to my clients and they said, yes, we want in. And we've been looking for a course that doesn't train you to become a therapist, but we love your knowledge. And this is my knowledge for group healing. That doesn't train you to become a therapist because not everyone wants to be one. Yet they would benefit from understanding how their mind works, understanding how beliefs are created, understanding how to use it in relationships and for personal health and peace of mind. So I sold the idea of the course and I had people paid and registered. Then I scheduled time to design the course, and I needed to do it because I was accountable to people. So then I took a self vacation and I wrote the whole course. Then I came and I had to deliver it. So that was my manifestation.
Yeah, that is amazing. In fact, I already bought your notebook last week when I recorded with another person, and then I gave it to a friend, so she loved it and she said she needed it. And then little did she know, I kind of already gave it to her, so she manifested it in a way.
And talking about manifestation, the first person who bought my affirmation journal said that she wrote something in the first page and then she created that to happen. She called it a manifestation journal. And she's like, I wrote something that I really was having a tough time with, and then I closed the book and it just became easier.
Yes, and my last episode was I am unstoppable and I am affirmation, because I love the word unstoppable. Because who says you can't do it? If someone has done it, you can always edit it and be more creative. And something that might not work for you, I think it can always be in alignment when you rearrange something that might not work out. So has there been anything in your life that you wanted to rearrange and has worked for you?
So many things. I've rearranged my team, I've rearranged my time, I've rearranged the way that I do sessions, I've rearranged my personal life.
I love how the word manifest is you let go, because for some of my clients, people find it hard to let go. And what I did was, one of my clients, I gave her my phone and I said, you see this picture? I don't need to press delete. And for her to take that action to delete a photo was helping her delete and let go of the thought, because so much of our mind can be in the thought. And I have a metaphor which is rearrange your ice cube. So back in the day, we would just put water, but who says we can't put coffee or some fruit or some herbs? So what would be 3 things you would think to help people to help themselves do an action?
Clarity is key. Like, the thing that stops people from doing an action line is that they don't know. And it's like, I don't know stops me because there's so many things that you don't know. I don't know what I want properly. I don't know what steps I'm going to take to move there. I don't know the result. I don't know when I'm going to do what I want. Right? So first, the clarity would be, can you visualize your desired outcome? If you can't visualize your desired outcome, I would pretty much say that it's not so possible, because the subconscious mind has not conceived it.
Right.
And the subconscious mind thinks in pictures and feelings. So if you can't see a visual and if you can't generate a feeling, then that thought has not even been grounded. It's like, oh, I want confidence. Do you know what that looks like? Do you know what confidence looks like? And it looks different for different people. I want a relaxed, easy life. Have you thought about, in your particular circumstance, with the family that you're in the home you're in, what does a relaxed life look like? And some people are like, no, but I just like this term. So if you don't know what it looks like in your life, and if you can't see it, it's not possible. So that's number 1. Then number 2 would be, what can you do to move towards it? Yeah? What, as you said, needs to be rearranged or adjusted to move towards it? And can you see the timeline between here and there?
The end game.
The end game. And then number 3 would be, what do I need to believe? So the first is visualize, then it's look at what needs to happen, and then it's look at your belief systems.
Belief systems is a big work on the self, because belief systems, not everyone thinks they can change it, but yet they can. And it might be a little bit of letting go as well, to say that, okay, this belief system no longer works for us, and we can move forward in peace and harmony with the mind, body, and self. How would you say for your clients, are they easily adaptable to new beliefs?
If they want it, yes. You know, a person's buy-in is most important. If somebody tells you, drop your belief system and here's another better one, you're not enrolled, you know, and it's not about convincing people, because the more you say the word convince, the more you're on the opposite side and you're playing tug of war. So if a person believes that, yes, what I'm thinking now is limiting me, and I know that, and I would like to change that, then doing it becomes very simple and easy. And of course, you can take help from a therapist or somebody, because sometimes these things are so programmed, so deep, that even if I know I want to change the belief system of being inferior or of being invisible or other people are better than me, I know I want to change it, but it's not so easy. But the fact that I know I want to, and I know what I want to change it to, and I know why I think this way, is key. And then through either your own practices or with some guidance, you can move through that.
So there is a growth mindset that can start step by step, slowly by slowly. Would you recommend people who want to manifest to have a checklist, and then when they manifest it, to cross it out? What would you recommend for the action?
Yes, sure, you can have a checklist, and action steps are brilliant. And again, make it specific. So what are you going to do? When are you going to do it? How long will it take? What will the result be? And every time you check something off your checklist, actually, it pretty much gives a dopamine hit, which is a feel-good factor for so many people, right?
Only chocolate.
Yes.
Checklist.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely, you can give yourself that high, and it saves us from doing other things, as you said, chocolate or alcohol or anything else.
Online shopping. That's great. And what did you think that manifest was in your mind when you first heard of it in The Secret? Did you think it was very easy, challenging? Did you have a preconceived notion for manifestation?
Yeah, as I said, I was misled. So I thought that, I have this amazing thing and now I can get everything that I want. And I was in a limited place myself. And so I thought, okay, sit on a couch and think of what you want and then it'll happen. Like, food will drop from the sky kind of a feeling. So I was in that miracle mindset without being grounded in reality. And then through so much of the work that I have done, I have become a lot more grounded and operate with wisdom. And even when you think about what you want, right? Certain people are thinking about what they want, not from wisdom. They're thinking about what they should want. What would please other people? What would my mother want for me? What would my dad want for me? Not about what would make me joyous, expanded, feel aligned, necessary. And it's not necessarily the same thing. And so even the question of what your desired outcome is, take a look at how aligned are you with that? And is it your desired outcome or someone else's? And if it's someone else's, then there is something else to sort out there first, because you're entangled with somebody else.
Yes, it's interesting to know the concept of people think of what other people think instead of putting themselves first, including what they would want first. It's always about what would this one say, or how would they judge me, or how is it that I can manifest a life of my dream without telling people to, say, no, this is not right for you, and change your direction. So I really feel that manifestation is the the right intention for ourselves, for our highest good. And have you felt any physical or emotional changes when you have manifested something?
I have. And you know, the more that I do self-work, and I do a lot of meditations and pranayamas and everything, you realize that at the deepest level, it's just about flow, right? So yeah, of course, I've thought about what I do want, and you know, the kind of people that I would like around me, the kind of work I'd like around me, the kind of financial abundance I'd like around me. But actually, what I would love to manifest is a feeling of peace and flow, whatever that might look like, and allowing that to show up with flow. And so if you kind of go into the thing of there's no need to even think of anything specific, just become aware and live in that awareness. Now that's a different perspective. It's a spiritual practice.
It reminds me of Kung Fu Panda 4 when the mentor of Kung Fu Panda always said peace, 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 even though so many people were bugging him, and he learned to focus on clarity, and he learned to sit with himself. And also talking about clarity, I recently went to a tarot reader last month, and then within 2 days the car license plate said clarity, and I sent it to a friend and she also saw it. So at the time we both needed clarity, just a good sign of time. Do you believe in signs from the universe about fate, like you were meant to it?
I do. I think that the universe gives us all the time, and they are messages, and messages coming all over. Sometimes we're very aware and we see them and it brings a smile to our faces. Sometimes the messages might be what you don't want to hear but you need to hear. And it's being able to be with that too. But your life today is a message. Like everything that is happening to you, you have manifested, whether you like it or not. So if you're in a toxic relationship, you've manifested that. If you're in a healthy relationship, you've manifested that. And each one has signs, and those signs are something to be aware of.
Tell me about your work with Tony Robbins. I know you're a senior mentor, and I recently listened to some of his online talk for about 13-14 hours. How did that happen? Was that a manifestation on your part?
That was completely letting go, actually. That this was going back to 2005 to 2007, and I had a thought, wouldn't it be awesome to work for Tony Robbins? And then I thought, what are the chances? It's okay. And then I saw myself actually on stage when he introduces his team, and then I kind of pretty much was enjoying my life and focusing on doing my thing. And at that time I was working with a company which I did for 6 months, who was promoting Tony Robbins and other people.
Wow, okay.
And so with that company, I happened to go to Singapore and I attended a Tony workshop, and I was dancing and singing, and like I was very much larger than life. I was probably like 22 or 3, something like that. And then one of the questions was to share your dream life with your partner, and my partner happened to say, sorry, I'm leaving this seminar because it's not for me. So my partner left. So then I ended up sharing with another person, and I said, in my dream life I would love to work for Tony Robbins one day. And this stranger looks at me and he's like, I've been observing you, I can make that happen.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I don't know who you are. Like, you know, are you somebody who's a wishful thinker? Are you somebody who's like conning me? Are you somebody who's saying something? So I just smiled and I thanked him, and then I kind of just let it go. And at the end of the seminar, he offered me a job, and he said that I'm the vice president of the sales team, and I'm seeing your energies and the way that you speak, and you would be an asset to the international team, and I'd like to offer you this job. And I was like, wow. And to be very honest, if he didn't follow up, that was enough for me. I was like, oh, I got this offer. Wonderful. And a couple of months later, he followed up and he invited me to go to Sydney. And then when I was in Sydney, I was on that stage, just as I visualized, with Tony introducing me along with his other team.
20,000 people?
That was about 10,000, I think.
10,000. Simple, easy. Done and dusted. Wow, that is amazing. And so tell me about something that you love about the universe. For example, they've taught you some lessons. Tell me your relationship with the universe. At the current relationship, do you have an amazing relationship? Do you have some lessons that you have to go through? What is your current
what is universe, right? There's so many different definitions of what that is. So is it a light? Is it a higher self? Is it the world that you live in? Right now I'm practicing non-duality, actually. And I'm practicing being aware of my ego, and then I'm practicing being aware of the part of me that's looking at my ego. So it's being the awareness of the identity, then being the awareness of the awareness. And when you go into that realm, I just feel like there is a synchronicity, there's emptiness, there's a lot of peace. Then it's more like I am the universe. I don't have to have a relationship with something that's outside of me. There's like this wholeness, and it's not happened that often. There are moments of it, and it's very, very beautiful.
Yeah, that's a very deep conscious state. So tell me, what made you write bit about consciousness from your book.
So my book was 52 Thoughts of Conscious Living, and it's a thought for every week of the year. My inspiration actually came from my own newsletters.
Oh, wow.
So every month I do a blurb and I send a newsletter out to my database.
Yes.
And in that blurb, I give some sort of wisdom as to what I have either learned myself going through either personally or with clients. And most of the time I want to add value, so I will give a little activity or something to think about. And then I thought, why not pull all of these concepts together and create something out of it so that people can use it as a guide?
Yes.
Because I got so many comments from people, and I still do every month, saying how much value they get out of it, and this resonated with them. And another concept, like sometimes I'll talk about what happiness is, sometimes I'll talk about how to do closures with people, other times what are chords, what does cord cutting mean?
Yes.
Like, so all of these different topics. And so I decided to pull them all together and then sequence it in a way that represented seasons. Like the spring would be about creating something new and different, and then winter would be about closures, etc.
Yes.
And I edited all of them because it's not going to be 100% the same. And
course.
it was then very nice, simple, easy and flowing. It didn't
Yes.
take that much to do because I had a structure already. And this was before ChatGPT and everything else.
Yeah, before the AIs might take over. And so tell me how the concept from your book to fruition, how long did that take?
This one, not long. Like, as I said, my other workshop is pretty long. This one was, I think, a few months.
Few months.
So all it took was, again, I scheduled a self-vacation.
Yes.
This is how I do all of my stuff. So I schedule my self-vacations. I sit with myself. I do the work. Then I gave it to editor, publisher, and
Yes,
it
that
happened.
is amazing. And what other project do you have in mind in terms of your
Yes. I think that there's a couple of other topics that I would love to write about.
Yeah.
I'd love to write about now what I'm working towards with the non-duality and how to operate within the laws of nature of Earth. Many of
Yes.
us know that we are in duality. We know there is impermanence. We know that there is balance, but we act as if it's not. We act as if we must only be happy all the time and not face the shadows of life.
Yes.
And act as if things should last forever. And when things complete, oh my God. And then we act as if we're not balanced. So my next book, I'm gonna make it to do with that.
Yes, I highly resonate because resilience and change was a big topic for me recently. And so change is a big aha moment. It's so freeing and so peaceful. And we can thank our old self and let go without any resistance. And so that's what I went through in recent months. And I have some manifestation checklists. That's why I was so happy when I got a few. And others are waiting for the process. And then sometimes the letting go, when you forget and you're like, oh my, I suddenly have manifested this. So a short version would be when I choose my birthday concept every year, the theme. My friend sent me a Barbie handbag, and I didn't know that I would choose that as my theme. And then suddenly I had 7 Barbie things, and suddenly I'm like, okay, this is so easy. I'm in the flow, and this is my theme. And so many people were loving it because it's fun and easy, it's eventful, it's joyful. And so manifestation is one of my favorite words because the action plan and sometimes the steps can be slower than we want, but because we are in alignment, then it will ease.
Absolutely. And I think when you're in that alignment, it's so clear. You can see that things are coming towards you. You can see that it doesn't feel like a struggle.
Exactly.
And most of the time, struggle is self-created. Because again, it's not going to be that something doesn't take any effort at all.
Yes.
But yet it might feel effortless if you're in the flow. So action is needed, and action takes effort.
Yes.
But if you are in the flow, that effort does not feel like a struggle. The
At all.
struggle is optional.
True. It's sometimes the struggle is in our mind because we can create it more than what happens. Sometimes you have to allow for the struggle to happen, be in the present moment, to understand that it's in the flow, and but the struggle is our choice to make it work as well.
Yeah. So if you reframe that effort as part of your flow and you're motivated to do so, then it doesn't feel like a struggle. If you're thinking that you're going against nature, you're impatient and things are not happening the way you want to, that's your belief system.
Married. And so when you decided to create your book in mind, did you decide it to have for teenagers as well as your affirmation book?
That's a really good question, actually. You know, the age of my audience was not something that I was really that present to.
Okay.
And I was present to basically my clients, and my clients are all, I would say, between like early 20s to 80s.
Yeah.
And they are looking for answers. They're on a conscious journey.
Right.
They're open, they're willing. And then I've got some of them who bring their children.
Okay.
But that is such a wonderful angle. I would love for teenagers to pick that up and for them to be interested. And so many of them are. Like, I remember one case where there was I think he was 18 or 19, and the mother brought him, and she said he has been researching different hypnotherapists, and he found you, and he told me, I want to see this person. He booked a session, and that here we are because of his efforts and
That's
his
amazing.
research,
Yeah.
which I think is brilliant because then it's the person's initiative.
They took the forward to make it happen, and it did.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
How would you talk to the younger students, for example, primary, and teach them about management? How would you go about it?
How old is primary 6?
Around
10?
10 and a half.
You know, I have very little experience speaking to children. So you're asking somebody who spends most of her life talking to adults and parents.
True.
So I deal more with the parents than the children. And the parents are the biggest influence on the children. They're the conduit to which the children get exposed to culture, society, norms, rules, and everything else. So for a 10-year-old, of course, I wouldn't use the word manifest, unless they already know that word. It would be about what gives you joy, what would you like to bring into your life, what, are your happiest moments. And I would use happy with them because this is just simple language.
Exactly.
And tell me about your happiest moment. Tell me about what made it happy. Then you would learn about those feelings. Maybe it's connection, maybe it's touch, maybe it's spending quality time. And how could you bring more of that into your life? Who can you communicate that to? So maybe it's something that they could tell their mom or dad that this is where I'm the happiest. This is who I am. This is what I like. And that is already manifestation because they're thinking about what makes them happy.
Yeah.
They're discovering the essence of what that is and they begin to communicate it out loud.
Yeah. And do you think that manifestation would benefit more people if they feel that they can believe in it and do better with their lives, improve their lives?
Yeah, of course. You believe in it, then it's going to work for you. Yeah? And I guess the antithesis to that is the victim mindset. So what would block it from happening is if you think that life is against you, which is the victim, right? A victim is powerless, helpless. The mindset and belief is it's unfair. I'm the innocent one. It's all happening to me. The world is doing things to me.
Yeah.
They're taking advantage of me.
Why me?
Why me? I'm unsafe. And so you're not tapping into your resourcefulness. So what a victim is unresourceful. And what you would need to be to manifest is resourceful. And that's a mindset. It doesn't depend on how much money there is in the bank or how many friends you have. It's the mindset of accessing your resources to create that for yourself.
Yeah, so that is just a mindset that can block people from so many amazing minds.
Yeah.
And how does ego play a big part in manifestation? Is it just saying, oh, this is not worth your time? Or is ego saying you are not worthy of it? What is ego doing?
Again, let's understand what is ego first, right? So ego is an identity, and an identity comes from a set of belief systems that tell you about who you are. And some of these beliefs are supportive and some are limited. So your ego and your identity would be whatever you believe about yourself. So I believe that I'm confident. That's part of my ego. Or I believe that I'm not confident. Or I believe that I'm powerful, powerless. In this circumstance, I feel good enough. In another circumstance, I feel not good enough. So these are all different belief systems. And if those belief systems are limiting, then the ego identity is limiting. And if you want something and you have belief systems that are not in alignment with what you want, what you're going for, then ego is a block. If you have a desired outcome and your belief system is supportive, it's not a block. So let's say somebody would like to earn a certain amount of money and they believe I'm capable, I'm smart, money comes easily. That means ego is supportive. And if that person wants that money or, inspired by that money, then if their ego is saying, no, it's hard, it's difficult, I'm not as good as my father or my mother, money doesn't grow on trees, then that's a block.
Major.
Yeah.
And what would you tell people if they want to change something about themselves? How would they go about something simple?
Like habit
something
or
simple as a habit. Yeah.
Again, it comes from the same thing. Know it. Know what you'd like to change. Know why you'd like to change it. Visualize yourself with that shit. Let's say if you want to change your habit of binge eating, then when do you binge eat? And most people who have a habit, it's a routine, right? It can be 4 p.m. every day I have these biscuits. Or midnight I have cheese. Yeah. So what would you like to be doing at midnight or 4 p.m. instead? Where would you like to be instead? Visualize that. Then understand why you do it in the first place. Why did you do the old behavior? And that would be a belief system. What needs to change? So maybe I binge eat because I feel empty and lonely. And then the food is filling that part of me and making me feel full so that I'm not thinking about the loneliness. So then at the same time now address that lonely part because it's a part that's calling out to you. And if you stop eating and start doing something else, but that lonely part gets triggered, then what are you going to do? Right? Either you'll find a different vice or you'll go back to eating. So begin to address why you did the previous behavior in the first place and give that lonely part some love, some attention. Understand that all of these things are not the truth, but they are your truth because you believed that you were the lonely one. And maybe you believe that because in your family, for example, one didn't feel supported or one felt like I've not been given enough love or attention or I didn't have enough friends. And then I decided that I'm the lonely person. Then that became my identity. So it's being able to understand that, to give that younger version of you some love, free that part of you from the past, and then you can live with a new belief system and then shift that habit. You asked for simple. I hope that was complicated.
So that was very good. It just hopefully that people will take that measure to change their life, see something that is different from their old self and something that can help them move forward life. Because sometimes we'll just get stuck at the how, and so these steps will be helpful when people take immediate not some. And so thank thank you for your time and thank you for being here.
Such a pleasure, Minal. It's so nice to see you in this form
Thank
and
you.
to have this conversation with you. So thank you.
Thank you so